welcome back to the O&G StrikeZone. Bryan and Kelvin, and we go from one championship coach to another championship coach. Welcome back to the show, Coach G, Coach Garfield Ellenwood. Coach, how you doing?
I'm good. Thank you for having me.
Man, always a pleasure to have you on. It's always good to talk to winners, Coach. You lift our spirits up and make us feel good about ourselves. So thanks for taking time out tonight.
Yeah, no problem. Hopefully we can have feeling good.
Yeah. How's the look? Before we get into talking about some of the recent news with our SWAC performers of the week, how's the season been in the indoor season, especially with the weather? I mean, we've had a couple of meets postponed, probably canceled. I not even postponed them, but the weather's been a little challenging, even for indoor meets.
Yeah, it has. Our first competition was canceled, and then we had to pivot at another meet this past weekend, but we weren't able to train up until we got to Gainesville on Thursday. Shoot was just talking about Angela making some things happen, and she was able to work her magic and get us into the facility where we could get an opportunity to actually train and get a real training session in, so that we would be in somewhat better position to compete on Friday. So we took advantage of that, which was good. And we actually ran well. I wasn't expecting us to run as well as we did because we hadn't practiced. And I took that opportunity to say, okay, I'm going to get the butter from the duck, and we're going to train hard this Thursday, and whatever happens Friday and Saturday happens. And they actually ran well. So, hey, I guess they in some shape. And I guess God had a lot to do with that.
Coach, you just threw me for a loop with that one. I had to chalk that one up. I never heard that one before.
It's something my dad, 83 years old. And some of the stuff he tell me, you gonna know where the rubber meets the road.
I heard
that. Fat meat is greasy, and get the butter from the duck. Say whatever, and it all came to us not doing what we were supposed to be doing. So he was gonna make sure he got it all.
Amen. I love that. I bet if I said that to my kids at school, they look at me like, "What?"
Oh, trust me. They have to tell you like, "What are you talking about?" And I'd be like, "Hey, just go."
That's beautiful. Go ahead, Kelvin.
Coach, talk about your team and some of the results. You know, you've had some all SWAC performers announced that we'll get into, but so far indoor, talk about some of your better performers and what do you think this team is at this point in the season?
I feel pretty good about where we are. We're actually ahead of when we went to New York, and that being our first competition, not having the week prior. They actually performed very well. We took 11 females, 13 males. The men got second overall team scoring to the HBC showcase, and the women got third. So I was very pleased. Nia Blocker won the 60 meters with a PR. Dejan Clark won the 60 meters with a PR. He won the long jump. Leonard Mastori won the hurdles. Paul won the high jump. I mean, so things are going in the right direction. I'm very pleased with where we are. Like I said, we're ahead of where we were last year. So I hope that we just keep this trend going and the weather cooperates, and we should be good to go.
So do you have the numbers and the events that you are focusing on do you think to be able to compete for the SWAC title?
Yeah, I do.
Indoor?
Definitely. We have enough pieces in place. I redshirted a couple of people, brought in some transfers. So, I think we're going to be in a good position. At the end of the day, I always say it's in the Lord's hands. If it's His will, it will be. We definitely going to do our part. And so far, so good.
Okay. Well, I got one more question, and I think I know the answer to this, but I know Rattler Nation was really interested in this. So, the FAMU relays. What's the latest information on that?
Yeah, we decided to cancel it for this year because everything started kind of late. We had things going, then transition happened. Things started going a little left as far as getting the team's commitment. See, one thing I truly believe, if you're going to do a meet, you have to do it right.
Yep.
It's got to be planned out, facilities, things have to be in place because there's so many other opportunities. Back in the days, FAMU Relays was one of the biggest relays because a lot of people didn't have anywhere else to go.
Right.
Now they have an opportunity to go other places. So if we're going to do it and get people to come and continue to come, we have to do it right. And I talked to April, and she was 100%. Yeah, she's like, I don't put on anything.
Yes.
Yeah, I got you.
We're going to make sure that it's right.
Okay. Good deal.
Good deal. Yeah, I heard that as well. But let me ask about so the most recent meet was in Gainesville against the where you had professional and unattached athletes. Maybe a concept that many people aren't familiar with, but it is what it is, right? It says what it is, unattached. But the one thing that stuck out for me, I believe it was in the 60-meter men's race, where Dejon Clark was running in a meet with an Olympic gold medalist and finished third. Am I correct on that? Did I see that right?
Yeah. He ran very well. Noah Lyles won the race. A former athlete of mine, Caleb Dean, he got second and Dejon got third. But he definitely held his own. I'm very proud of him. I'm very proud of where he is in this season because last year he was pressing a little bit. Then he got a slight injury, decided to redshirt him. And I think it was the best thing that could have happened because he had another year with me and his progression is going straight through the roof. So I'm very excited for him.
Okay. And looking at some of the SWAC awards that just came out as today, I think Kirk Dawkins ended up earning some honors, co-track athlete of the week. Talk a little bit about Kirk's performance over the weekend.
That was a great performance for Kirk, especially, like I said, not being able to train for 4 days. He came out, he set a personal best in the indoor 800 meters. He ran a great 400 the day before and worked out the day before that. So he did outstanding. Alicia Douglas, the same thing. Alicia Douglas did three events, the 400, the 1,000, came back and PR'd in the 800. Oh, you got it. Okay.
Oh, yeah, I got it.
And then my freshman, Ariana Ladson, she did an outstanding job. This was her second collegiate meet. Finally getting her groove back in the hurdles. Long jump, and she hadn't long jump in 2 years. We started working with her, getting her back into the long jump. She PR'd, she won the meet. So it was definitely outstanding. Everyone did a great job. I'm looking forward to where we're going.
Good stuff. So my thoughts go, okay, so looking this upcoming weekend, the California Challenge, the Gamecock Challenge, I'm assuming that if I remember the schedule, I'm just kind of flipping on now, that's a schedule the 31st and 1st. So is it split in 2 locations or is it all in Columbia? Is it at South Carolina?
It's all in Columbia, and our athletes made it to the seeded section, so they'll compete on Saturday.
Okay.
So that's pretty good. We got some get here. We weren't because they split it and wasn't sure. Some would end up running on Friday or Saturday. Put out the list today, and they all advanced to the faster day on Saturday. So looking forward to having some good performances there, and then we'll train following week and then head to Chicago. I'm really excited about going out to meet with all of the alumni in Chicago. They've been supportive. I mean, they're fundraising for it. They're doing everything. They're really excited about having us come. And last year we had good performance, and now the athletes know what to look forward to. So they're really excited about it as well.
I'm curious with track because obviously you mentioned the upcoming schedule after the Windy City Invite in Chicago. Then you have the actual SWAC championship in Birmingham. Or because everything is time based, you can kind of watch and see what other people do throughout the year. Do our athletes, do the students do that? Do they kind of, it's like almost like scoreboard watching? Or you kind of looking over on the websites and kind of seeing what so-and-so ran or what so-and-so threw or how they jumped? Is that sort of kind of standard practice, or are we more focused on ourselves and our own personal best? What do you get from your team this year?
Oh, they do it all the time, and it gets underneath my skin because I'm like, just focus on what you do. Stop worrying about what the next person. But I mean, it's social. We live in the world of social media. It is what it is. Back in the days, all we had was a sheet to call track wire, and then by the time you find out what somebody ran, it was 2 weeks down the line. So you had no choice but to focus on you, and that's really what I try and get them. Worry about your lane. Have tunnel vision like a Clydesdale. And then they said, "What's a Clydesdale?" Okay. Have you seen the Budweiser commercial? The horse with blind. Just stay focused on you. But yes, they do it, and they do it a lot.
All right. I figured they did. I mean, it just seems like human nature to kind of do that this day and age. All right. And so I noticed as I just kind of peep around the schedule, you go from not much of a break from the indoor season to the outdoor season, which really starts in March. I mean, we kind of finish up February with indoor season, then you go into March. Well, not only do you have the NCAA indoor champions, but you also have the outdoor season, which starts. What does that transition look like? And maybe I'm shame on me for looking that far ahead, but just for Rattlers, who might be kind of curious in case they can't get to something indoors and might be more outdoor people.
Okay, so right now we have March 7th and 8th scheduled for our first outdoor competition, the River City Invite, and be held at UNF in Jacksonville. We've also been contacted that they're putting together it's complete now. Once the final weekend of the conference championships results come out, they're going to have a HBCU track and field championships in Louisville, Kentucky.
Wow.
So let's find out about that. So what they're doing is they're taking the top 16 athletes in each event and then inviting them to Louisville to the new facility they have in Louisville. And then they're providing hotels. You just have to you'll get your transportation there and your meals and things of that nature. So spoke with Angela, briefly informed her about it, and I'm thinking I might forego depending on how many we have qualified, and to keep costs down, forego the Jacksonville trip to go to that championship meet. But I also have to take into consideration who I have qualified for the indoor championships, because that's the following week. And the goal when I walked in here hasn't changed, is be the first HBCU win national championship. So you got to be at that meet in order to do that. So right now, that's kind of we're going to see what it all falls out at. And then if anyone in the area wants to get an opportunity to see us compete in person, Florida State Relays is the 29th of March. And that's the one time that we will be here in Tallahassee.
And that's an indoor national championship that you mentioned in Louisville, right?
Yes, that'd be indoors. Mm-hmm. Which is
And it'll take across MEAC, SWAC, even Division II.
SAIC, CIAA. So what they're doing is doing division.
Yeah.
They're going to have a Division I section.
Okay.
And then they're going to do Division II and NAIA together.
Okay.
And run it that way. It'll be top 16, top 8 to the final, champion from there in each event.
I'm curious. Does it obviously having two divisions, I get it. Does it matter if they were to theoretically have all of them together, would it really make a difference? What's your thoughts there? I'm just curious.
Well, I guess that what they're trying to do is kind of keep it on a even playing field. And when I say that, let's say Division II, you only get 10 scholarships.
Okay. Where
we get 18 women, 12 points. So we might have an opportunity to have a little bit more. But if you put everyone that's have the same outline or same demographic, then it'll be easier to crowd. Now, at the end of the day, clock don't lie. So if the Division II /NAIA, they run faster, then hey, everybody knows they the fastest.
Yeah. That was my thought. That's where I was wondering. That's where I was going with that. So, but it makes sense though. I mean, plus, I think a lot of folks will get a good kick out of being able to finally put our see our men and women run up against, whether it be A&T or whoever else you might consider a power from the MEAC, and just kind of, it's always fun. I think whenever you can kind of do that, I think it's fun. Adds to the brand of HBCU track, and we let the best run against the best, so to speak, right?
Yeah. The one thing I like about track and field, like you talked about, the unattached athletes and professional athletes, that's 90% of the meets. Collegiate athletes compete against professionals or elite level athletes. So it's been going on since before I was running. So that's the one time when it's not about who has this, who has that. We lining up between these two lines and may the best man or woman win.
Before we let you go, Coach, I want you to give a second and talk about some of the leaders of your program, some of the men, women, some of the young people who have stood out so far, that have really shined as some of the leaders in the program.
Oh, definitely by far on the men's side is Dejon Clark. He's our men's captain. He's a quiet leader, but they follow. They understand. He's always expressing the mission. He introduced himself to me day one when I got here, and he's been right there with me since. On the women's side, Lacey Dubosky, our women's captain, very outgoing, very energetic, but you can depend on her. And what I like is athletes that are going to lead by action, not by words, but by action. And they definitely, when it's time to step up, they both step up.
Okay. I appreciate that. Kelvin, you got anything for Coach?
I got one question, Coach. Do you train differently, for indoor versus outdoor because of the differences in the distance in some events, and then the configuration of the track itself?
Oh, no, it's the same, other than because you run 60 meters on your way to running 100. So, we train that way, 400. Yes, 2 laps. It's a little bit more strategic indoors than outdoors, because with the break, and some people, might get tangled up, some fall, some stumble, things of that nature. But all in all, the training is the same. It's just learning you have to be able to know when to peak and then do it again outdoors. That's pretty much the trick with coaching, just knowing when to do what and when not to do what.
All right. Good
All right.
deal.
Good stuff. Coach, last words, anything you want to let Rattler Nation know? Any words of advice, wisdom, support, anything you need? I want to give the floor to you, or the airwaves to you.
Well, I'm always grateful and thankful for the alumni support, not just alumni support, some staff on campus, administration on campus, housing, meal. They make sure these athletes have what they need and put them in the best position to be able to do what I need them to do in the classroom and on the track. So I just thank them. 220 Club is always, Tommy Mitchell, St. Clair Moraine, everyone that has continued to support us. Mr. McKinney, they call, they check on me, make sure we got what we need. The alumni associations, we head to South Carolina. Mr. Dean, again, just being there for us to make sure that we have what we need. I'm truly grateful for that. Of course, anyone that wants to donate to the foundation, we greatly appreciate that, because again, once we can get to a position where we can do both of these meets that we were talking about, being able to send the ones that qualify for that championship to go and still be able to send the rest to Jacksonville, that's going to take funds. So as long as they can continue to support us, and if you haven't, start supporting us, we can make you proud, because we need to do more things.
Good stuff. Well, I mean, your young men and women, they make us proud, and I enjoy kind of watching. And I was glad that we were able to kind of follow along and watch on what was it, on Peacock? And then the good social media following that we get. Shout out to HBCU Track on Twitter. They do a great job of keeping us updated. So I love it. And so I look forward to this upcoming weekend in South Carolina. So any South Carolina Rattlers or North Carolina Rattlers, or wherever, however close you are, might even be in the Georgia area. If you can get over to Charleston, right? Charleston, South Carolina.
No, Columbia.
Columbia. I knew it was the other one. Columbia. I knew it when I said it. Columbia, South Carolina. You can go support and getting ready for those. Oh, and the Chicago Rattlers. I know the Chicago Rattlers going to show up. Shout out to my guy Cliff Goins up there and the Chicago Rattlers. I know y'all going to show up big time for FAMU in the Windy City. And then February 21st in Beeham, the indoor meets. We're going to take 2. We coming this year, Swag. We're taking 2 of them from y'all this year.
Yeah, I like the sound of that.
Just to let you know. All right, Coach. Be well. Safe travels to you and the team and the coaching staff. And we look forward to some updates. I'm sure we'll talk a little bit before the SWAC indoors. So once we get to the SWAC indoors, then we'll kind of get a breakdown from you if we can get you back on the show before then. All right.
Okay, for sure.
All right.
All right. Thanks, Coach.
Hey, thank you guys. Have a blessed night.
Hey, you too.
You too.
All right. That's Coach G, Coach Garfield Ellenwood, second joining us. Good stuff. Woo. All right. Hey, we hadn't even talked about any news, just talking the championship coaching, man, making us look good, man.